Welcome to Inexpert Film Advice. Today we're talking about auditions. Auditions. If you're an actor, you have to go through them. But how do you get through them? Well, there's no surefire way of getting a role, of course, but I'm going to give you a few tips to make it a little easier. Welcome to Inexpert Film Advice, where I give my inexpert advice on film and filmmaking. My name is Deontay Jenkins. Let's go audition for some things. First piece of advice for the week: prepare multiple pieces. Sometimes what you prepare works, sometimes what you prepare doesn't work. So it's better to have multiple pieces just in case the casting director asks you to show them something else. I always recommend having 2 dramatic pieces prepared and 2 comedic pieces prepared. Angry, sad, goofy, and outrageous. That way you can show them a full range of emotions and they'll have a full idea of what you can do as an actor. Now keep in mind, the casting director or somebody behind the table may ask you to do it in a different way. So be prepared for that too. There are many ways to do a scene, so keep an open mind and be prepared for anything. Next piece of advice: be early. If you have a set time where you need to be at the auditions, you need to be there at least 15 minutes early. This is because sometimes life happens. Things can get in the way, things can mess you up, you never know. So you need to give yourself a little time to prepare, to get in the right mindset, and to be ready for your audition. Also, you never know when you might have an opportunity to go a little earlier. Maybe somebody before you dropped out or didn't show up at all and they call you in a little bit early. This gives you a little extra time to impress the casting director. Being early also gives you a chance to look over the sides just in case you're doing a cold read. The term better late than never does not apply to auditions. If you're late to your audition, it makes you look unprofessional and makes the filmmakers not want to work with you. If you're late before you even have the role, in their minds it'll be even worse if you do get the role. You want to leave a good impression and you want to have time to prepare, so be early. Try this and I guarantee you that the casting director will never say no. Ask if you can do more. Sometimes you can feel the room and you can just tell that what you were doing was not working at all. Always finish the piece, but at the end of the piece you can ask if you can show them more, just so you can, get a little more comfortable. Now An audition is just a test really to see what your strengths and weaknesses are as an actor. You want to show off as many of your strengths as possible. 9 times out of 10, if you ask to show more, they will allow you to do so. Next up, stand out. But how do you do that? How do you stand out when the casting director has been sitting in a room for hours watching hundreds if not thousands of actors come in and out? Well, it's simple. Be yourself. Let them know who you are and let them see exactly who they're dealing with. You can stand out by showing your unique style of dress or even by telling them a funny story about yourself. Engage them, make them want to remember you. Talk to them, make them laugh. Make them see that you are a person that's worth paying attention to. The performance starts as soon as you walk in the room. Don't let them forget who you are. Don't go in there with the idea that your acting alone will get you the role. Because a lot of times there are actors just as good as you are, but they're more memorable, which makes them more likely to get the role. Now don't go overboard. You don't want to be remembered in a bad way. Really just show them who you are and make them feel like you're somebody who's worth investing in. Another helpful piece of advice is you can write your own monologue. A lot of times we can't find a monologue that portrays the emotion that you want everybody to feel when watching. One way to remedy that is to write your own. There are a bunch of benefits to writing your own monologue. 1, you'll know the character better than anybody because it'll come from you. 2, it'll be a great point to bring up in the casting room. And 3, it'll likely get you the exact emotion that you want because you're writing it yourself. Plus, it's just fun to create characters. Next up, use the space. There's nothing more boring to watch than an actor stand in one spot and give a monologue. Be in the real world. Act like something is actually happening. Paint the picture using your body and the space around you so that the casting directors can be transported to the place that you want them to be. I said this in my acting tips video, but as soon as you walk in the room, look around and see the space that you have to use. Use that space to the best of your abilities. But please, whatever you do, do not touch the people behind the desk's belongings. I had one woman once come in and pick up my water bottle and throw it across the room. That's an example of being noticed in a bad way. If you need a prop, bring it yourself. Otherwise, just use the space around you. Move around, walk, move your arms, your legs. Don't just stand in one spot and deliver the monologue using only your voice. You should treat it like you're starring in a stage play and it's an audience of just a few people. Use all the space you have and your entire body to tell the story. It really shows your acting ability. You need to have good eye contact. So once a guy came into one of my auditions and he turned around and did the first half of the monologue with his back facing us. Come in the room, find somebody, lock eyes with them, and you act to them. They're the one you're having a conversation with. They're the one you're delivering your monologue to. If you do that, it feels a little more realistic. Never, ever, ever, ever turn your back to the people that you're auditioning to. That doesn't even make sense. Needless to say, that guy didn't get the role. Also, shifty eyes looking all across the room shows that you're kind of amateurish. You want to be able to deliver your lines to somebody because you're likely going to be delivering your lines to somebody in the film. If you're doing a monologue, make it show that you're having a conversation that you're dominating. If you're cold reading with somebody, have a good back and forth going. Show them that you actually know what you're doing. This is a short piece of advice. Have a one-page resume. Oh my gosh, I cannot tell you how annoying it is when somebody hands me their resume and it looks like a magazine. Take everything that's not important off of your resume. Unless you have no other credits, I don't care about your high school drama days. I don't care about the short film you did 3 years ago. Let me put it like this. You put the most important things from the past year, year and a half on your resume. That's it. You don't need anything else. You need that and like some special skills or whatever. You really don't need anything else. Don't try to fit every performance that you've ever done into one resume. It's pointless. Nobody's going to read that. Nobody cares. A lot of times when you're auditioning, obviously you're going to be nervous. So bring water. Depending on the audition, they may offer you water, but it's always good to bring your own just in case. Right before you get in, take a swig of water, loosen up your throat. Make sure you don't get too nervous and your throat doesn't get dry and you're unable to complete your audition. It's very embarrassing when you're in the middle of a monologue and you go through a coughing fit because your throat is so dry. You may not think that your throat is going to dry up, but it's very possible. When you're auditioning, you're making yourself very vulnerable to people, which makes you very nervous. And nervousness makes your throat dry. It's always okay for you to ask if you can stop, take a sip of water, and start over again. We who are casting you want to see you at your best. It seems a bit simple, but bring a water bottle and avoid a lot of problems. My last piece of advice is for you to do research on the people that you're auditioning for. Unfortunately, the entertainment industry is full of a bunch of creeps and weirdos. There are a lot of people who may want to take advantage of your talent. There are a lot of people who may want to take advantage of you as a person. We live in the 21st century. Google works. Use it and make sure you're not dealing with any creeps and weirdos. Also, doing research will let you know if it's even worth your time. A lot of times you'll be able to find past films and see if it's of good quality and substance and something that you'd want to be a part of. Use the Googles. Alright guys, that was my inexpert advice on auditioning. I hope it helped you out a little bit. Be sure to give this video a thumbs up and drop a comment below if you have anything you want my inexpert advice on. You can also mention me on social media. My handle is here. But if you really like my videos, become a patron. My Patreon is linked below. It's the best thing you can do to help me to continue to produce this type of content on a weekly basis. It has a lot of cool benefits. I know one of them is having a live video chat with me and having me answer some of your filmmaking questions live. But anyway, that's all I have for you this week. But before we go, let's go over my inexpert advice one more time. Prepare multiple pieces, be early, ask if you can do more, stand out, write your own monologue, use the space, have good eye contact, one-page resume, bring water, and do research. Alright guys, thank you for joining me on Inexpert Film Advice. I am Deontay Jenkins. I'll see you next week.